Welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to be replacing the starter. This is actually a 01 Dodge Cummins 6-speed transmission. But most of your Dodges, when you get up in the diesels and all, are going to be the same thing. And the V8s are very similar to this too. So Dodge pretty much sets them all up the same. A thing about the starter. This is a Duralast. I got it from AutoZone, and you know, I don't know if I'm that crazy about the Duralast brand, but they guarantee them for life. So this truck has 560,000+ miles on it. So I've replaced this kind of stuff before. The alternator I got from them, and I'm actually on my third alternator. I just take it back, they give me another one. So you know, this kind of stuff doesn't last forever. The starter that's in there now I got from Napa, and they gave me a 2-year guarantee. Now I think the starter's been in there for 4 years, so it's done okay. But I like the idea, you know, hey, down the road it goes bad, I just take it back to them and they'll give me another one. I mean, I paid almost $200 for it, so it's worth it. At any rate, let's get to it. First thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go up in the engine and we're going to unhook our battery cables. So we need to make sure we unhook both battery cables, and when you unhook them, you need to make sure that they don't, you know, sometimes they're loose, but there's pressure on them, they can go back and touch, you know, so make sure they're out of the way completely on both batteries. So we're going to go ahead and do that first, and then we'll move on and see what else we have to do. Okay, so our battery cables are all unhooked. Next thing we got to do is get the starter out. So the starter is going to be on the driver's side, and it actually goes parallel to the engine going into the bell housing for the transmission. So in other words, it sticks out just like it's sitting now. This is actually the bottom of it. So this is what you'll see when you look up at it. And what you need to do first is, this is the main battery supply. You need to take that loose. And then there's a wire here, a small wire, that energizes the coil to make your starter engage. So you take those two wires loose. Then you have to take the bolts loose. So there's 2 bolts there, and then there's one on top. Now the one on top, you pretty much, you know, I mean, you might be able to squeeze up there and get it, but I always just try to reach down through the inside of the engine and get it. And that is the hardest one, so I will take this one out first and put this one in last. The 2 on the bottom are relatively easy to get to. So, you know, go ahead and take your wires loose, take your top bolt out, and then take these 2 bolts out. And the starter should be free, and then you'll have to wiggle it around some to get it out, but you'll be able to get it out. And then I'll show you what we need to do to put it back in. So I'd like to take a moment just to show you around my dirty engine bay for a bit. Like I say, this is primarily a work truck, and like I had said before, I got 560,000 miles on it, but I've done tons and tons of upgrades on it. You see, I got compound turbos, external wastegate, got water methanol. I made my own intake boot there, and we have all these videos. You know, I encourage you to subscribe and take a look if you're into these trucks at all. We have everything from water pump, brakes, got the 6-speed transmission, complete rebuild. We go step by step. Everything's easily explained so you can understand it. But yeah, subscribe or take a look around the YouTube channel and see what else you can use. So we got it out. Couple things I wanted to go over. If you can notice right here, you see the whole ear is broke. I encourage you to use a little bit of Loctite on it. These things vibrate like crazy, and I learned my lesson. My bolts came out and that was the only one holding it, so it broke the ear off. Excuse me. And you know, a little bit of Loctite goes a long way. If you use it, use the blue. Don't use the red. Red is permanent, blue is temporary, but it helps really hold things. So when you get the starter off, it's also going to have this little spacer here. Okay, and that just slides on there. So just take that off and you're going to slide that on your new starter. It just slips right on there. So you need that. And the bolts are all, they look like a star bit, but they're actually 10 millimeter, and they you have to use a 10 millimeter like a star inside, not a square end. Now the one bolt, you know, this is the bottom, so the one bolt right here, you pretty much really difficult to get a socket on there, but you can use a regular wrench, 10 millimeter wrench, and the square box, not the square box, the round box end will fit on here and turn it. So any rate, yeah, just put a little bit of Loctite on there, you know, save yourself the grief of it falling out. Like I say, I don't know if they're going to take that back as a core or not. Sometimes they won't take them back for a core if their frames are damaged, because that's primarily what they use when they rebuild them. They'll put new motors and everything like that. They want all the casing from it, so that's what they reuse. You know, they'll reuse the motor casing and the housing and all this bit, and then they'll put all new parts inside of it. So we'll see. If not, I'm out 40 bucks what they charge for the core. So what we're going to do next is we're going to put it up in there. And like I say, it's easiest to start and put your two bottom bolts in. I always start with the easiest one first and get that in there, and then the next one, and then you can snug them up. Don't tighten them 100%, but make them so they're snug, and then go up top and get the bolt in on the top one. Then once you do that, you can tighten that one all the way up and then come back down underneath and you know, tighten these up. Then all you have to do is reattach your main power supply and your wire for your solenoid. So at any rate, we're going to go ahead and stick that in there, and stay tuned and we'll see if we have success or failure. So the starter's in, battery cable's back on. Let's give it a try and see what we got. Oh yeah, that's the way it's supposed to start. Yeah, there we go. So you can see there's my water methanol injection, and up here I have for a tuner, I have the Quadzilla tuner. If you'd like to see what it takes to install it and the ins and outs, and if it's good or bad, you know, like I say, subscribe or take a look at the videos on our website. I hope this helps you out. You have a great day, and thank you for watching.